What's up, guys? It is Jack and Jeff from AchievementHunter.com. And Jeff, today we are doing 5 facts in Bioshock number 2.
I played that game.
You played that game. This is the follow-up to the initial Bioshock game.
I'm going to have a 6th fact for you.
This was the, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, this was the one, you know, the underwater Bioshock, not the new air Bioshock that everyone's excited about. Completely different. So, yeah. So, anyway, this game is, this was the follow-up to the initial Bioshock, and it got kind of a lukewarm response, I would say.
Anytime you have, like, one of those fucking like iconic games like Knights of the Old Republic or Bioshock, and then they farm out the sequel to another developer house, people, man, they scrutinize it. But I thought it was actually a pretty fun game.
Yeah, it was pretty good, and the DLC for it was fantastic.
Yeah, that's my 6th fact is that the Minerva's Den DLC for Bioshock 2 is second only to Gay Tony in DLC of all time.
Yeah,
those are the 2 best DLCs I've ever played.
Yeah, I mean the game itself is a lot of fun. If you enjoyed Bioshock, it's just a lot more Bioshock. And I believe 2K Marin is the guys who made this one, right? It was Irrational made the first one.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah, and so anyway, but yeah, obviously the follow up, and you know, I enjoyed it. I like playing it. It was, you know, this time you play as a Big Daddy. Which I think one of the problems was the fact that, like, you know, in the first Bioshock game, the Big Daddies are like tanks, like they're impossible. Yeah, they're
terrifying.
They're impossible to take down. And then, you know, you become a Big Daddy, and suddenly, like, one little splicer can kill you. It's like, wait a minute,
spider slicers, and you're like, well, come on.
Yeah. So that was a little bit confusing, but hey, what can you do about it? So, but hey, we got 5 facts here, and let's go through them. All right. Initially, many media reports suggested the title of the second Bioshock game was to have the subtitle Sea of Dreams.
I remember that.
In response, 2K released a series of statements that ended with the developer dropping the subtitle and using it for one of the game's trailers. So, I think I remember that, like when that sort of initial, like those trailers came out, had like the water kind of like slowly washed until it got like had crabs on it.
It was all wet and shit.
Yeah. So, the water is wet and shit. So. During development, the team at 2K scrapped an idea where there was going to be only one big sister in the game that would constantly hunt the player. Reports indicate that the lone big sister was a little sister that returned to Rapture after growing up on the surface. Was that not the case of the game?
No.
I could have sworn the game there was only one big sister that has followed you around the whole damn game.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I guess I'm completely off in that one.
Yeah.
Do you remember the part where
you usually are?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Do you remember the part where you take over the little sister and
you play as the little girl and and everything's all pretty.
Everything's all pretty and there's flowers and like and blood is all rose petals. Like that was a really, really clever part.
That was pretty awesome.
Probably my favorite part of the game. But all right, the Rumbler.
I'm glad you remember something.
Hey, there we go. The Rumbler type of the Big Daddy is actually a revision of the Slow Pro Big Daddy that was cut from the first game.
Slow Pro was the Big Daddy with like the giant cannon arm, right?
Yeah, it looked like he had a keg on his shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I guess
he was there to party.
He knows what's up. The developers purposely never gave the main character an actual name because they wanted the players to connect with the character instead of, quote, foisting a particular identity onto the player. One developer even said that choosing whether or not to name the main character is one of the hardest decisions the team had to make. Really? That was the hardest decision?
Really? Yeah, it's like you either do it or you don't.
Yeah.
I could go either way.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Just pick a way.
Probably bigger decisions than that, but hey, I guess you know, some people get really confused by that stuff. And last but not least, artists like Norman Rockwell and Ginny Civil inspired the art. Civil? Inspired Civil.
Yeah,
like
Seville.
Like the barber of
Seville. Yeah.
Inspired the art team when it came down to designing the splicers in the game. It was their goal to show the kind of, quote, perfect humans that once inhabited Rapture. So
they did a pretty good job, though.
Yeah, the splicers in those games are always creepy as hell, man.
Yeah,
that's sort of one of those things, like the sort of demented humans that run around. I like it a lot. But did you have any more facts, Jeff?
No, the Minerva's Den was my big fact.
Yeah, Minerva's Den is awesome. And this also added multiplayer into Bioshock, which I'm kind of surprised wasn't touched in the 5 facts.
They had some kind of obnoxious multiplaire achievements because they were tied to playlists that you couldn't get sometimes.
Yeah.
But
how much of the multiplayer did you actually get into?
I played a little bit. Yeah,
there was some fun stuff in there.
Protect the big sister and all that stuff.
I remember you could do like the water traps, where like if you put it underneath a short wall, if someone was running and chasing you, you could run over it and then they would hit it and they'd like get blown into the ceiling and die.
Yeah,
it was fun stuff like that. You know, like, you don't really see in a lot of multiplayer games, but that was kind of cool. And anyway, so that's Bioshock 2. I'm sure we'll be back for even more next time.
Love you.